Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching Married at First Sight, the reunion episode. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist, and I'm also a professor, and I've been those things for over 20 years. And I often have a lot of things to say, so let's get to it.
His friend Shanny to the stage. Hi, Shanny. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, Shanny.
Mindy, let's talk about this Lindsay situation.
I mean, what do you want me to say? It broke my heart. I knew Zach for a few weeks. I knew Lindsay for several years, and she hurt me so badly, and I have no words, like how hurt I am.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Mindy, I think, is saying it pretty eloquently there. I knew Zach for a few weeks, so for him to betray me, it hurt, but Lindsay I knew for years, and for her to be speaking with my husband behind my back, seemingly in a flirtatious manner, is very hurtful. And that is just awful, awful behavior. And look, if you're attracted to someone's husband, say Lindsay is like, whoa, me and Zach really hit it off, but Zach is married to my good friend. Well, that doesn't mean you just throw in the towel. What it says is you go to your friend and say, look, I am so sorry, but me and Zach are, we're starting to get something going, and I have betrayed you, and I'm sorry. And I am stepping out now, and if the two of you don't work out, then there's a chance that me and Zach might start dating, which I know is just terrible, but I really want to see if me and Zach are going to work out. But that's up to Zach. If Zach wants to be with you, then I'll respect that. There's a way to, now you might judge someone that did that, but what I'm saying is that sometimes people fall in love in some strange circumstances, and there's a way to go about, maybe let me give another situation. I actually have run into this professionally. So let's say that you're married and you have mutual friends, like you know how couples will have other couples that they're friends with. And let's say you fall in love with someone you fall in love with a friend, a mutual friend, and you're starting to have feelings. Well, the path to this is to not secretly engage in a deceitful, immoral, harmful, affair. The answer to this is like, whoa, I'm having feelings for someone right now. What does this mean? Does this mean my marriage is on the rocks? Does this mean I want to be in a polyamorous relationship and I want to explore that with my spouse? I need to go to therapy. What is going on right now? I need to make sure that I don't move any further and cause any more harm than is necessary here. Because maybe in the end of an exploration, I decide that I don't want to be married anymore. And maybe I want to pursue this other person, but they're still married, so who knows what's going to happen there. But maybe me being attracted to someone just indicates, I'm just looking for a way out of this relationship. That'll happen sometimes. People will have an affair and they'll be really in love, and then they get a divorce, and then they pursue the relationship with the affair person, and they find that I'm not really into that person. That person was just a way out of this marriage. I couldn't really admit to myself that I wanted to be out of the marriage. Going to therapy, exploring these issues, getting to the bottom of it, and then taking action. Just moving on with the affair is eternally harmful to the person who is being cheated on. That abandonment, that deception. For Mindy, she's now wondering, are all my friends like this? Does anyone really care about me as a human being? Does anyone have empathy for my feelings? Why would you do that to me? Of all the people, Lindsay, friend of mine, that you could be attracted to, why my husband? And that you continued to talk with him behind my back. I mean, this is so hurtful. So people, please, when you run into that possibility, go to therapy. I've had many clients who have had these impulses, and we've talked about it a lot. Usually it indicates mistreatment growing up and traumas that are manifesting in a motivation to cheat. That's almost always the case. In movies and tabloids, cheating is perceived as some kind of, I want to have my cake and eat it too. That's almost never the case. In fact, I've never encountered that. Whenever someone is quote unquote having their cake and eating it too, like a Tiger Woods or a Bill Clinton or something, it is because of trauma. It's because of mistreatment. Now, I don't know about Tiger Woods or Bill Clinton because I haven't treated them, but all the clients that I've treated in that realm, that is always the case. It's tremendous suffering that is at the foundation of that motivation. So anyway, maybe we'll get to the bottom and there'll be more talk about Lindsay. And I really feel bad. I just feel so bad for Mindy. I mean, this show has just been really awful for her.
How much communication was going on between Zach and Lindsay, Shanny?
As far as I know, they were talking most days. Of course, I don't know for sure anything because all the text had been deleted by the time we asked. But I do know, and I have proof that she truly believed that he was going to visit her and that he was into her and that he believed that she was a better match for him.
Right. It certainly seemed that way. Zach and Lindsay, or at least Zach was claiming something different. It seemed like Lindsay was at least intimating that, yeah, there was something more there. But it certainly seemed that way. I mean, why would you be communicating with someone so often behind your wife's back? I mean, why else would you do that? Now, Zach, of course, will say, no, there wasn't any romantic thing there. I was just trying to get advice from her friend. Well, then why not just say to your wife, by the way, I'm going to talk with your friend because I want to get some advice from her because I really like the advice she gives and maybe she'll help me fall in love with you. I'm guessing he's going to say something along those lines, and it's hard to believe that, honestly. But anyway, let's continue watching.
You're shaking your head, Zach. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I don't think she was a better match for me. I don't think I was going to visit Lindsay. We didn't have anything beyond that short span of a friendship, no.
And at any point did you think, this is a little crazy that I'm talking to one of Mindy's good friends?
Yeah, I mean, to a sense, yeah.
To a sense, or yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little crazy, yeah.
Right. So Zach is back to his, putting up walls and speaking in very obscure manner, in a very obscure manner. And then when pressed, he just agrees. But I don't think he's really agreeing on the inside. I think he's just placating. When he's asked a question, he gives very confusing, amorphous answers. And then when someone corners him, he gives a very short agreement. But I don't think he's really agreeing. If he really agreed, he'd be like, yeah, I don't know what was happening right there. He would give more details. So I don't think we're going to get anything out of Zach in this moment. We're probably going to be disappointed and right back where we started, where we're still wondering what in the world was happening there.
I think that in a really sad way, she was kind of proud of herself that she could take something away from Mindy.
Why would you still want to be friends with her after this?
We have so many mutual friends. We have a group. It's not just me that has lost a friend here. Shanny's lost a friend here. Our other really close friends have lost friends here. And I don't want to take that away from them. So I opened up communication for her, really for her to apologize to me and to just say, like, at some point down the road, maybe there could be some kind of friendship. It's not today, but possibly at some point.
So Mindy is being a very, very nice person and a very big person, taking the high road right here, which is great. And I'll tell you, I've been in Mindy's shoes in a number of different ways personally, and I have made both choices. I've made a choice to end a friendship over something like this, and I've chosen to persevere because I believed that there was a road to recovery. As in long-term marriages, where there are occasional infidelities that will happen, and then marriages will recover and they'll be even stronger moving forward. Friendships will have similar situations where you're in a long-term friendship and there's a betrayal. There is an awful thing that one of the members of the friendship did. And you have to make a choice. Is the relationship important enough to you to push past that and to recover? It doesn't mean you just move on. It means it's like, well, I'm willing to hear an apology and I'm willing to improve this relationship and build trust back. And I recommend considering it because I feel like a lot of people would say, well, why would Mindy want to be friends with Lindsay? I mean, you got to write that person off. And certainly that's her right. But the older I get, the more I realize that any good friendship is going to have really bad moments. The more you're involved in each other's lives, the closer you are, the more you depend on each other, the more you're going to bump up against their sharp edges. And that's the metaphor that I have used in my own personal life. The closer, if I'm really distant from someone, like they're just an acquaintance or they're just kind of like a party friend, then I'm never going to bump up against their sharp edges. And I'm only going to experience the good side of them. But I'm not really going to be a good friend with them. And I'm not going to really be in a mutually dependent, deep relationship with that person. The closer you get to someone, everyone has sharp edges. And the closer you get, you're going to bump up against those sharp edges and it's going to hurt. And you're going to be like, whoa, I didn't like that about that person. And it's always going to happen because everyone has sharp edges. Everyone has traumas. Everyone has issues. Take it from me. And friendships are going to experience, the deeper the friendship, the more likelihood that's going to happen. So to categorically say, whenever you bump up against the sharp edge, I'm going to reject that friend because I refuse to be disrespected, you'll probably never have long-term deep relationships with anybody. Now, I'm not saying you have to put up with it, but I'm just saying that if you want a set of close relationships, that's the decision I've made in my life, is that there are a small number of people that I want that deep friendship with, and I have bumped up against those sharp edges of their personality. They've bumped up against mine, and we have had our ups and downs, and we have persevered. Umberto is actually one of those people. I've talked about this before. Some of you know him, some of you don't. But I have bumped up against his sharp edges. He's bumped up against mine. And there were times when we were like, well, I guess we can't be friends anymore. But then we recovered, and now we're stronger than ever, and we'll always be friends. I'm quite positive because we've been through ups and downs with each other, and we trust each other because of that. We trust that, like actually recently we had a tiny little conflict. And as I was going through it, I was like, well, we've been through worse than this, so I'm sure we'll recover. Because that's usually the worry, right? As you start to experience conflict, you're like, well, they're going to reject me, so I'm going to reject them. And then things spin out of control and you don't have a friend anymore. Now, again, I'm not saying that Mindy is supposed to reunite with Lindsay, but Mindy is saying, well, I'm open to it. I'm open to hearing an apology. I'm open to building trust back. And we have a whole friend group in this situation. So it's going to be inconvenient if we create this rift in the middle of all these friendships. And so, it shows great maturity and great differentiation on Mindy's behalf. That's great.
Zach, have you spoken to her at all since that anniversary dinner?
No.
Not
Since
at all.
the anniversary dinner.
Since the dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the next morning.
But since the show was aired, you haven't spoken to her.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, you texted her accidentally.
Oh, so I have a client named Lindsay, and I text my client, hey, call me when you get a chance. And then, no reply. And then so I go back, and I'm like, holy shit, Mindy, I've texted Lindsay, and it was the wrong Lindsay.
I don't know what to believe because I was lied to by both of them so hard.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see it going either way there. I think Mindy is, again, very wise to just say, I don't know. It could be true. It could be not true. Who knows? Because Zach has proven himself to be capable of bald face lying right to Mindy's face on a number of occasions. So who knows really what happened. All right. Well, that does it for that episode. Tune in next time when we continue with the reunion episode. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.